Hello.
Hello.
Have you can you include your audio?
I think I've included it, haven't I?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, my audio's included.
Nice. We should be good then.
We should be good. I just need a invite to the lab.
I've got a few people for the interviews, but I think we'll start in like 15, 20 minutes.
So I was
We
just,
can just talk about whatever until then if you want.
yeah, so I'll just get a drink. Right.
All good. Let me see. We've got three people so far. Kurt, Tycho, and Matt. But Matt can't do it till 7:40. I don't
Is
know
that
what.
for the interviews?
Whatever. Yeah. So. But we can get someone in now if you want.
It's up to you. I think
Itching to ask questions.
I'm not itching. I've just got probably best way to be let them practice for a little bit, get a general feel for the
Oh
track, and
yeah,
then we'll get some in.
yeah. As we get closer,
Is anyone looking impressive?
I
Oh,
haven't
it's
really been paying attention to be honest.
good
But
stuff.
Tycho's done a decent lap, only six
Yeah.
thousandths faster than Kurt.
Mm.
We all know how quick Kurt can be, so that's a good lap from Tycho.
Yeah, definitely. You'll be looking to bounce back this week, definitely. I mean, he got the pole and was looking all right until he had that incident with Slav. So
Oh yeah,
Slav's not racing this weekend, so
no one for him to take out.
exactly. So Kurt will be absolutely
He's gonna shoot me
relieved.
now when once he hears that.
We all know what it's like. It's all right.
It's just a bit of bants.
It is.
We've all been
We have.
Um, so yeah, I don't. This is such a weird track. I don't know who's gonna be quick here.
Well, it's not a street track, so in terms of, I think the driver makes more of a difference around Australia than it does Bahrain. Obviously, these are all going to be equal, so
Oh,
actually expecting. Oh, disqualified.
yeah, he hit the barrier and couldn't get turned
All
around.
right.
That's
Um, I'm actually expecting it to be closer than it was in Australia, if I'm honest. Um,
yeah, the tire situation here is a tough one as well. I feel like the tire wear's worse than it is at Australia, so I think the field could be closer.
yeah, I mean, with Australia, especially with the new modified uh, altercations to it. I think with it being such a fast track and obviously the walls being so close with it being a street circuit, you had to have if you had to really make sure. It reminds me a little bit of a Jeddah, funnily enough, where you have got quite high speeds, but you had to make sure you get nice and like close to the wall. So, and obviously with tyre wear and stuff like that being a factor in the way race, people just sort of fell off more so than they would here. I feel like this race should be a lot closer, I reckon. Should be.
Hmm.
Doesn't mean it's going to be, but should be, hopefully. I can only dream.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the top three were pretty close last race.
Mm,
Jet kind of hanging on, but then obviously came through to get the win. But
it's quite hard as
I
well,
think this is
obviously,
pretty
with it.
much guaranteed a dry race. So
Yeah, I'll be very, very shocked if it weren't a dry race. So you'll be looking. We'll get to truly see how everyone's race pace is in the dry. Obviously, we didn't get to see that much, or we didn't get to see that at all last week. We got to see their qualifying pace, so we have a rough idea in terms of where qualifying might be for a few drivers. But the race pace was still very much in the unknown. So we'll have a look. But any who we sort of feeling like gut wise in terms of like who's going to have a good race early on? Who are you backing?
no favourites, of course. Uh,
Mm.
I've just got the sheet of last race, of the quali and race results.
I've got the quality ones. I haven't got the race results, but I can quite easily get them.
So I think typically, if I'm gonna back anyone, um, I mean it's got to be Kurt or Jet, right? You know.
You'd immediately say those two, certainly in terms of qualifying. Yeah. Um,
I think just race pace as well. Like they're
Race
just.
pace, yeah. It is hard to look past those two, isn't it? They'd be your sort of like two early favourites. Although, again, I would say that they do have that tendency, of well, certainly from what my experience with them is, that a mistake can creep in here and there, and someone like either Tycho or Don't Blink, who are probably not quite
Mm,
up there in terms of raw pace, but have that consistency, they can certainly capitalise on that. Um, but look at it, it's actually quite it is quite hard to pick out drivers, actually, to be fair, because I do genuinely think we have a very equal field going on to it. So I name people like Tycho and Dominic, but Destined, Glenn or Ubris GT and JG could quite easily get in there as well. Um, so yeah, it's
yeah,
probably
looking at the
quite hard actually.
the quali times, so the top three were all separated by about 2 3 tenths, which I think
Yes.
are, at least at that track, pretty clear in their own league there. And then
Mm,
the following five cars were all within 2 tenths, so I think the midfield battle is really
mm,
quite strong. Uh, I think Ouroboros, he only qualified ninth, and he was half a tenth off eighth, but I think the race pace, he's got it.
mm, yeah.
Testarossa as well, Destin, Mitch, they all did well in the races, so I think they can capitalize on any DNA. I think we might see a few incidents here and there. There's a few corners that can catch people out, like
Mm,
turn two. If you get on the curb or the throttle too much, you can
yeah.
lose it into the and then turn four as well. If you
Again on
take too much
traction.
speed,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's a good point you actually raised there, to be fair, because this racetrack should allow more overtaking opportunities than Australia did. I know in Australia we had a wet race, so couldn't really see all the guys in racing action properly, but a wider track, more overtake friendly, could lead to one or two more instances you might feel. I mean, again, it depends on if the racecraft is there, if they're depending on pace as well. But yeah, you definitely could be right in terms of you might be seeing one or two more accidents. Um, but it's also one of them tracks where it is quite a long lap if you think about it. I mean, a 130. Well, you might be seeing qualifying obviously a bit quicker than that, but the actual lap itself, it actually feels quite long. It does for me anyway, compared to most of the other tracks on the calendar. So requires quite a lot of stamina as well in the race, a lot of patience, shall we say. Um,
Mm.
it's obviously quite traction heavy in some corners. You've got quite a few corners which are like hairpins, so got to require quite a lot of good throttle
I think that's a
management and
good
stuff like
point.
that. Yeah, go on.
No, I think that's a good point. There's a lot of heavy sections where you know on the throttle you have to really be not for everyone, of course, because everyone has their different
Yeah, like driving styles and techniques. Yeah,
assists or whatever, but
and assist as
turn
well. Yeah.
there's a lot of corners that you have to be really sensitive on the throttle, like turn two, three, that left right uphill,
Yeah.
um turn four as well, and then
Four, is it
turn
seven?
five. I've noticed if you don't going into the left right, I've noticed if you don't have enough downforce, you can understeer onto the curb on the
Yeah,
outside,
yeah, that's a
and
good point.
that can catch you out. Turn eight, I believe, the downhill right hander. That's a really
Yeah,
tricky one,
but it's
and
also
obviously
the
turn
corner,
eight.
right? Yeah, the corner after that as well. I think is probably, especially in this game, probably one of the hardest corners of the game. It's always been a tricky corner because, especially for those who aren't running ABS, it's you're you're basically braking but turning at the same time. So you're trying
Yeah,
to really not lock up your fronts and especially that inside tyre, making sure you keep it steady and not lose tyre wear through there. So I think that sort of section in particular, from sort of like is it turn 8 through to like that 9-10 complex, going to be really
yes.
critical in terms of tyre management, I reckon, especially throughout the race. And it's also, with it being the middle part of the lap, quite a lot of downforce required in that setup, so or that part of the lap either way. So depending on the setups you run, if you run one that's a little bit lower wings, probably going to struggle a little bit through there a little bit more. Is that going to mean you're going to put your tyres through a little bit more as well? It's all really to play for, really, I suppose. But yeah, I do know what you mean. It's can be very, very tricky on the tyre, so I don't quite know. You'd imagine a one-stop should be the Strat, a medium to hard run, but if people tend to struggle out there, you never know.
Yeah, it is an interesting one. I think like you said earlier though, there's more opportunities here
Yeah.
for overtaking. I think the whole first sector is great.
Hmm.
Sending it down the inside, into the turn one or in the DRS zone for turn four, but also um, turn seven, I believe, turn 6 or 7, the right hander hairpin before then the tricky downhill
Double
left
corner,
hander. I
yeah.
think that I think that will catch people out, which will let whoever's in the area can
Especially,
capitalize on that.
yeah, especially if you get a good run throughout the previous corners, the turns, is it 5 and 6? The right and the left hander. If you're behind somebody and you can just catch a better line, it gives you a lot more speed going into that right hander. So we could be seeing quite a lot of opportunistic overtakes there if they obviously have the speed going into their opponent into that corner. So yeah, that'll be a popular spot as well. And then I think other than that, there's not. You might see one or two people tried the overtake on the back straight after
Yeah,
that left hand complex. Maybe one or two there, but other than that, you're probably going to have to wait it out until either the last corner or catching the DRS down into turn one. So, but
mm,
that part of the lap is a lot more straight lines based anyway in terms of like your low drag, high speed corners. So yeah,
yeah.
it is gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting.
Have you got any predictions? Really? Anyone?
Mm,
Maybe someone towards the lower end of the field maybe have got some
yeah.
more pace to
So
unfold here.
let me remind myself of who should be attending. So right. Um. Well, we saw. Um. I'm actually quite interested to see what a Matt will bring to the table. Actually, didn't necessarily
Mm.
see much of him in the equal, if I remember, but certainly in the realistic race, he was quite punchy and got a great start, obviously, and made a few positions, especially on the start there. So it'll be quite interesting to see what he can do, especially if he qualifies sort of. I think he qualified
He qualified
fourth. Was
fourth,
it fourth last
three
time? Yeah.
tenths behind third, and then actually came third in the race.
Oh, so he came third in the
Um,
race, did he? Right. Okay.
so I think Ashley did a solid job.
No, yeah, that's fair. There's so much happening that race, you tend to forget things, don't you? But right, no. So if he,
Yeah,
so if he has a similar, if it stays dry, and he qualifies in a similar position, I think he could be one to watch out for. Certainly at the start. Looking down the rest, obviously Tycho, you'd be thinking probably in and around where Matt will be. Showed glimpses of the pace that he had in last week in Australia. Mitch as well could be one to look out for. I think I'm just tempted to call out all the drivers. It's quite hard to pick a certain one to look out for. But if I'll tell you what, I'm going to be keeping my eye on Zig this race because I don't think we saw quite his true potential last week. Um, I think I don't know whether he suppose something was wrong, or he just didn't like the setup or the track. But I felt like he could have showed a little bit more pace. So I'll be keeping an eye out on him, see how he does. Um, but yeah, I think in terms of a prediction, I don't think I'll be agreeing with you in terms of who we're going to be looking at. Who'd be up in the top positions? You'd be struggling to look past either Kurt or Jet. But I'll be intrigued to see who can get that sort of like final podium spot. If those are the top two drivers, like as I mentioned before, Tycho, Matt, Zig, Don't Blink, all these very good, consistent drivers. It'll be interesting to
Mm.
see how they turn up. But also looking forward to see the lower end of the points as well, because every point's going to matter. It's a long season. Obviously, especially considering the first race of the season, which was quite chaotic. I'm pretty sure. Well, obviously, quite few people retired from it. People probably getting results they didn't really expect. So it'll be trying to gain back that sort of like either points lost they last weekend or trying to keep up that momentum. But yeah, I'll be keeping an eye out for a few people definitely.
Mm. Yeah, going back to what you said about Zig, actually, I remember now he had a incident in qualifying. Was was on a lap and got held up in some traffic and got taken out. He
Uh,
couldn't avoid it. So
that's right
I
then.
believe he still had
Well, he finished
a decent
fourth.
race.
Yeah, he finished
Yeah,
fourth.
so he
So
did.
that's what I'm saying. It's because obviously last week in the wet, he
I
probably
think he ran a solid job, to be honest. I
yeah,
think
no,
maybe.
he did. He did. Thinking about it now, I think he probably did. It's just whether he can extract that a little bit more from the car in qualifying. Maybe if he did have that instant, then that's fair play. That's obviously not on him. But yeah, I'll just be on the lookout for him, particularly because I just felt like knowing I've raced alongside him for quite a while now. I know the speed he is capable of, and seeing him not really up there challenging the throughout the weekend for me was a little bit surprising. So I'll be just curious to see what his pace would be this weekend.
Mm, yeah, I think he has said to me he struggled a bit here. But I don't expect anything less than a top seven finish.
Mm-mm.
Um, Otherwise, we'll be having words. But no, I think Zig gets super unlucky sometimes. I'm not just gonna sit
Yeah.
here and say he does all he can, and all the bad luck isn't his fault. You can argue a few things maybe are, but a lot of the time seems to get caught out in things that are out of his control.
Yeah.
But when he's given the opportunity, I think he can really do well. So we'll just have to see here.
Right. So we're getting up to that point. Have we got anyone lined up for any interviews, possibly?
Yes, we'll do our American friend first because he did ask first,
Okay.
or offer first. So I've just sent him an invite.
Is that
He might
a?
not recognize me on this account, so you might have to invite him.
Oh right. Okay.
They probably were thinking, who's this guy?
Yeah. What's his what's his gamer tag? I'll invite him now.
Um, Finally, okay, here we go. Just make sure. Um, okay, just make sure your audio is included.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Hey,
Yep. I think we've got him.
welcome.
welcome to the booth.
Is
We
your
here?
audio
Yeah,
included?
what
Yeah.
have we got there? Right,
Okay, good.
okay,
Good job.
good start.
Take it away.
Go and take me away. Right, well, Kurt, obviously, last week's pole position winner or pole sitter, obviously got quite unlucky in the race. Just want to just generally get a feel for how you're going into the weekend. Are we looking to make amends, try and obviously get that back-to-back pole and secure the W, or are you going to go a bit more conservative this weekend?
Uh, gonna get the pole and dub hopefully. Full send.
Yeah.
I mean the Crash
I
Master isn't
like it.
here, so hopefully I might finish. So
Wow, big
hoping for the
words.
best
Right.
here.
Right. Okay. Okay. You feeling strong around it? Has this been a particularly strong track for you in the past, or?
I don't know. Well, actually, today I was doing time trial and I matched the world record on an invalid lap. But usually in the past,
Right.
I'm not
Okay.
the best in the race at Bahrain, so I don't know. It's a bit
Right.
interesting.
Okay.
What
Okay.
time was that? Can I just ask?
27. Wait, yeah, 27,186.
I believe
Right.
your time earlier was a 27.5, right? Before? Is that
Yeah, it's
right?
like a 27.4. That's what it is right now. I just haven't
Yeah.
improved. I haven't got a valid lap in.
That's
Right.
a pretty
Okay.
stonking
That
lap.
is a
So.
very good. I think the rep should be a quite scared of that. Wow. Okay. Um.
Yeah.
Any
I wouldn't
sort
be too scared.
of. Right. Well, it's a good job
Okay.
you're up
No,
in the
no, I
championship
don't
booth
mean.
then.
I mean, Kurt. He didn't finish the race last week, so
Oh
he's
yeah.
gonna need to
Ah.
make sure he changes that
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
with all
Definitely.
the pace. So we can sit here and say you'd be quickest, but at the end of the day, you gotta
Finish
cross the
first.
line.
First, you must
Otherwise, it doesn't
finish.
matter. Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? So, but you know, it's good to know that you'll be obviously aiming to bounce back from that disappointment last weekend. Is there a any particular characteristics of the track that is to your liking? Are you looking maybe? I know with it not being a race or street track, quite a lot more opportunities for an overtakes. Maybe if you do fall back, you'll be looking to get them overtakes in. It's what sort of like setup do you think you'll be running? Do you think you'll be running more sort of straight line based or more balanced in the corners, do you reckon?
Yeah, so I'm going for like quite low downforce, but quite oversteer as well. A lot of rotation. So I think I'm
Okay.
probably gonna struggle in the
Mm.
high speed, but be quicker in the low speed, hopefully.
Okay.
So I think
Alright.
this track should suit me a bit more than Australia.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Do you have anything else to add, TB?
Um. Uh, um. Yeah, actually, no, I do. In when if you're let's say you're leading the race,
Okay.
in a safety car, how do you feel under the safety car? Do you think if a safety car or two comes out, is that gonna affect your rhythm, your race, or is it not gonna have any effect on you whatsoever and just slow you down?
No, I think I'll be fine. I just gotta get the strategy right. So
What is the strategy today? Let's hear it.
I don't know. I think I might start on hards because I really hate the hards. So I just want to get them out of the way and have the mediums at the
Okay.
end. But it depends really. If I'm like a good bit quicker and I don't have to do anything different with the strategy, I just might start on mediums. But if it's close, I probably will go hards.
Interesting.
Well,
Interesting.
let's hope it's close then.
Yes,
Yeah.
Get
definitely.
you working hard.
I'd like to have a bit of alternate strategy, definitely.
Indeed. Anything else, Ryan? Or
No, I think
yeah.
that's I think that's it. I think yeah, as I said, good to know that you'll be aiming for the pole and wish you the best of luck.
Thanks.
Yep. Good luck, Kurt.
Thanks.
Okay.
Find that quite interesting that he said he'd possibly consider the hards if the time to the pole was close. I thought it'd be the other way around. Surely, if you're going to be a little bit quicker than everybody else, you'd want to maybe risk the hards to try and offset that balance. But very interesting.
Yeah, I think with Kurt, it's a lot of talk, a lot of action half the time.
Right.
Um, but I'm not gonna doubt his ability on the track. 'Cause
No, fair enough.
I think he is quite clearly one of the quickest.
Yeah.
I think he just needs to, get the results.
Definitely,
You
definitely.
can have all the pace in the world, but if you don't get the results, then it doesn't matter.
Well, as I said earlier, you need to score the points. You need to make sure you finish the race first, even though obviously what happened last week was quite harsh on him. At the end of the day, he was still involved in it. So,
Yeah, definitely.
Tycho, good. Glad you could join us. Can you hear us in the party? All right?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can.
just make sure your audio is included as well.
Yeah, should be. I
Yeah.
don't know if I'm gonna be, or hopefully you can hear me on the stream. I remember last time it didn't really work.
Did you include your audio?
Yeah, I did,
Okay,
but
you'll be
I
fine then.
okay. I watched the stream back and I just can't hear myself. So I don't
All
know.
right. Okay. Well, hopefully you'll be all right this time.
Yeah.
Right. So,
We'll
Bahrain,
just
how
go
are we?
over it afterwards in case. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ryan.
No, it's alright. I was about to say, no, that's fine. Do you want to kick off into the questions? Bahrain, how are we
No, you
feeling?
take it away.
How are we feeling about it, Tycho? Are we feeling strong around here? Is it a track that you're historically quite good at, or?
To be honest, I feel like I've been good at, but based off the last seasons, compared to other people, I'm usually only like fifth or sixth fastest, at least in the race. But I
Yeah.
don't know how that's gonna change this season at least.
All right, okay. And obviously, last weekend, even though you managed to bring home a brilliant second place in the wet conditions, qualified fifth, I believe it was. Are you looking to be sort of in and around that same position, or are you going to try and focus a little bit more on qualifying, get that sort of starting grid higher, and so it makes the race a little bit easier for you? What's your thought behind that? What you're going to be focusing on?
I think I can qualify P5 or P4. I think P4 is probably what the highest I want, but people like Kurt, I think are gonna be faster than me. I don't know where Glenn's gonna be either.
Okay.
And
Is that someone you're
Zig is
expecting to be sort of battling with? Sort of like Glenn
Oh,
and Zig in that sort of area, yeah?
yeah, Glenn and Zig, and even Don't Blink. I
Yeah.
know it's only on time trial, at least. I know it's only time trial, but he
Okay.
is like 2 tenths faster than me there, so he
Right.
does look pretty quick.
Okay. Good to know, good to know. And possibly, I mean, we've just spoken to Kurt, and he was possibly mentioning of the fact of possibly varying strategy, maybe starting on the hard tyre, getting that out of the way first, and then going on to medium. Is that something you'll be looking into, or are you going to be sticking to the medium first stint? What's your thoughts behind that?
I might just do whatever Kurt does, to be honest, if he is trying something different.
Yeah. Well, you got to do what you got to feel comfortable with. No, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
TB, have you got anything else to add?
Yeah. So, as you said, you want to qualify top five. What about the race? Are you looking to capitalize on maybe a potential win in case there's some incidents up ahead like there were last week? Do you think that's possible, or are you just gonna stay modest and aim for maybe a podium or a top five?
I think top 5 is fine, what I'm gonna want, because people are just too quick, especially Kurt, so I don't know if I mean, he didn't really spin at all. Last race in Equal or Realistic, he just had an accident with Slav that I don't really know what happened there, but I don't know if it was Slav's fault or Kurt's fault or whatever happened.
Slav lost it under traction and then I believe oversteered into Kurt.
Yeah, it
Would it
was.
just-
It was probably more.
It wasn't
onus
a
on Slav.
direct.
No, it was just like yeah. I think Slav just lost traction on the corner and then hit the barrier. I think Kurt sort of like swerved to maybe try and avoid him, but that put him more in sort of harm's way, and they just both collided with each other. So I think more onus on Slav being at fault there, but at the end of the day, it weren't anything malicious. It was just one of them things, I think.
Mm,
Right.
yeah. Well, yeah. Thanks, Tycho.
Okay.
Do you want to add anything, maybe? Do you want anything you want to say?
I don't really know. Not really, actually. I'm just
Going to
aiming
be
for the
aiming for
top
that win.
five.
Come on, I want to hear
I'm
you
not
saying.
even.
I want you to hear you say you're going to aim for the win. Come on.
I don't think I'll be aiming for the win. Especially legendary Louise too. He's been looking quick.
Yes. Yes, that is a very good point, actually. Hopefully we'll get to speak to him at
Especially
some point. But
compared to last game, he's quicker. I'm not sure he's gonna be able to do this. He's doesn't really speak English, I don't think.
Alright.
I'm not
Well,
sure, to be honest, based off what he told me. I
Fair
think he can
enough,
type,
well-
but not speak.
yeah, type and speak it. No, that's fair enough then. Well, I should wish you all the best for the race, and hopefully you get that podium place you've been looking at. So, yes, good
It's
luck.
gonna take luck.
Yeah,
Thank
good
you.
luck. Okay, so I believe next person is Matt, but I don't have him added on this account, so
You need me to.
Invite him real quick.
Let's have a look. In fact, do I even have Matt added onto this?
Okay, I just invited him, so. I'll leave now.
Yeah.
alright,
Yeah, no
cheers.
worries.
Goodbye.
Cheers.
Yep, see ya. Good luck. Okay, yeah, Matt just said he'd be about a minute, so
Yeah,
give me 1 second and I'll be back.
not a problem. I think most people are just trying to get their quali runs in before the actual lobby sets up. Obviously, no surprise to see Kurt out in front at the minute, but at the end of the day, this is just a practice session, so we can't read too much into it. As I think we've just had Matt join us.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. You've got your audio. Clear.
Yep, got it.
Good stuff. I think TV's just stepped away for a minute, so I'll start with the questions. Obviously, Matt, great to have you on the in the booth at the minute. Obviously, quite a good race from you out last time out. Believed you got the podium, did you not? I think a third place, was it?
Yeah, P3 last weekend.
P3, right, yeah. And you qualified quite well from what I remember as well. Basically, I just want to get your thoughts on where you think you'll fare this weekend. Are you like Bahrain a bit more? Are you going to feel a bit more confident here? Where do you think you'll probably end up compared to the others?
To be quite honest, I'm still updating the game, so I haven't even tried out the new handling models, so
Oh.
I have no clue. My game's still updating right now, so I'm gonna try and get a few
I
laps in before
hope
qualifying.
you're going to make it in time. Right, okay. Well, that's if there's anything like a last minute call super sub, then there we are. That's it. Like I just have visions of you running through the paddock, just trying to get into the car last minute. That's brilliant. Right then, so I suppose expectations are going to be probably fairly low this race, then, are they?
Yeah, I don't really. Yeah, I guess I don't really have any expectations. I'm just gonna show up and hope for the best, I guess. I mean, my update's only at 60%. Be done in a couple minutes, and then I'll do some laps.
Right. Okay. Brilliant. Has Bahrain in the past been quite a good racetrack for you? Do you know on previous games? Is this a track you've always liked, or?
It's up and down. I know, especially on the last game, it was pretty easy to, especially in Sector 2, there was this weird curb where you would spin every time, and I remember past couple seasons I haven't had the best luck, but
Yeah.
in terms of overtaking and all that, I feel like I'm really good with overtaking around here. I know where to line it up and get around people inside, outside, so I'm pretty confident
Yeah.
on that aspect.
Well, I think given the nature of the track, I think as I was speaking with TB earlier, this track is a lot more overtake friendly, I think, than Australia is. So even if you don't have the best of qualifyings, I'm sure you'll have every opportunity to make your way through the field. But right, that's okay, that's fair
I have
enough.
to do a last to first challenge.
Well, that's it. Well, we'll be streaming it. You'll be able to watch it back. We'll be watching Brilliant in action. I'll let you get that downloaded. Then I didn't realize you were still updating it. That's going to be brave of you.
It's almost there. It's got about
Right.
20% to go.
Right,
Minutes.
not a problem. Right, well, wish you luck for the race, and yeah, hopefully
All right.
I get to speak to you later on the podium.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers. Right, so very interesting there. That is going to be quite interesting to see how he ends up in the grid with having such little practice. I know me when I'm trying to practice preparing for a league race, I like to have at least maybe 15 minutes, half hour of just time trial, and maybe even like a Grand Prix mode just to try and practice, just to sort of dial myself in. So the fact he's going to have so few laps to practice, going to be very, very tricky for him. So, but fair play, fair play. As we continue, I think this practice session is just finishing up, so we'll wait for TB to come back to see if there's any more people wanting to get some last minute interviews in.
And I've missed him, haven't I?
You've missed it by quite a good margin as well. To be fair,
He couldn't even wait for me.
no, it's actually quite an interesting. Yeah, I've only just found out that he's still actually updating the game. He hasn't even practiced or anything up until now, so he's only going to get a few laps of time trial and that's it. So that's going to be very interesting to see how he does.
Yeah, that's not the best sign I've heard.
Definitely not. I know when I'm preparing for a league race, I like to have at least sort of like a half hour just to try and dial myself in. So I don't know what he's going to do with like a couple of laps. It's going to be interesting. Is there anyone else who's wanting an interview before we start? Do we know?
Tessa but he said that a while ago, so unless he's joined, then no.
Right. No, we haven't had anyone
I think
join.
that's everyone.
Is that
No,
everyone?
no one likes us today.
No, to be fair, I don't blame him. If I had the choice, I don't think I think I'd avoid us like the plague as well. I mean, I'm only doing this commentary because you're forcing me to do it, so.
Oh yeah, I definitely held a gun at you.
Oh, joking. Yeah, I think
There is some good news though.
Go on. What's the good
You
news?
know what I'm gonna say. In the real world, you know what happened today in qualifying. You know, out of all the qualifying I've watched, I missed today, and it happens to be
I'll tell
the
you
day
what,
fucking Mr. Saturday gets
Mr.
pole.
Saturday gets pole. I'll tell you what, I am thrilled with that, but I am also, a part of me is like really, really annoyed because obviously it's the one session this season where Mercedes look to have some genuine pace and Hamilton has a car issue on the last lap. It's just like, you can't, right, he had a DRS issue, so he basically it weren't working, so he aborted his flying lap because he obviously weren't going to improve without any DRS. I'm just like he just can't seem to catch a break. I know his fortunes have turned in the past few races, but seriously, it's. But at the end of the day, I'm well excited for Georgia. Hopefully, he can get his first win tomorrow. I'm hoping. It was a great lap, to be fair, though. It came out of nowhere. Like up until Q3, Mercedes didn't even look like they were in the fight at all. And then they all of a sudden they seem to have found a little bit of pace. It was quite good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I missed it unfortunately, but I came home to smiling faces. So.
Yeah, no, it was a good session. Obviously, Verstappen had the issue. I think if Verstappen didn't have the issues, then
yeah, I think we know.
It's probably safe to say he would have got pole. Although I will say it would have still been close because, I mean,
I think this is more of a Ferrari track, to be honest.
Well, yeah, I expected Ferrari to absolutely walk it, but no.
Sainz ahead of Charles as well by.
To be honest, I'm not surprised at that because Sainz looks just more comfortable. He has been in the past few races, hasn't he? Really, looks more comfortable than Charles. It's weird.
Yeah, since I think it's Canada, he's really come alive. Monaco, actually, I think was it Monaco then Canada? Monaco, he was doing the strategy
Monaco
for
then
the team.
Baku, weren't it? Baku, and then I think it was Canada after Baku. So ever since then, really, yeah, obviously great British Grand Prix. Lacked a little bit in Austria. Leclerc had the better of him there, but obviously France he couldn't do anything about. But he looked quick all weekend, and now, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I mean he was blistering in qualifying.
Yeah.
It was Q2. He set the fast lap by like a good amount.
He did, yeah. So hopefully, I mean, obviously with Leclerc's troubles this season, he's not actually that far off him in the championship. So if Sainz gets his act together, you never know. You never know.
Well, it was my prediction that Carlos would win the championship. I mean, it's maybe out.
Really, really, that was your prediction?
I thought Ferrari would be on top. I mean, they kind of have.
Which they kind of
quite.
have been, but they've just either messed up themselves or drivers.
I think my prediction was, I think it was Carlos first, Hamilton second, Leclerc third, and then. I thought it would be a Mercedes-Ferrari fight. I thought Red Bull would drop off a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously they've not done that at all.
No, yeah, before the season started I would have probably agreed with that. I didn't think Red Bull would be as strong as they have been this year, but they've just, to be fair to them,
I thought McLaren would be... I thought it would be like... Mercedes would be how Red Bull are performing, and then McLaren would be a bit like Mercedes and still be the third.
Yeah, well, that sort of like bridge gap between the midfield and the top three or whatever it is. Yeah, it's unfortunate how, well, for me as a fan, how this season's turning out. But to be honest, I think I just want just Hamilton to get a win this year. That's all I'm wanting. If he gets a win, it's definitely possible. Definitely after today, like if today would have been the typical like Mercedes are second off in qualifying, then I'd be like, right, it's gonna be a tough, like, yeah, it's gonna be tough for another tough season. But to be fair, with Russell doing what he did, I'm now a lot more hopeful. Like in previous, I mean, he might get the win tomorrow. I don't know, but you can't really overtake on Hungary, can you? Really, so it's gonna be hard.
I think Hungary is just about putting your car in the right place.
Unless he gets lucky with a safety car, which he's literally got the rough end.
Well, we know how lucky
occasions.
Lewis is, so.
Well, he hasn't been this year.
Not this. I don't think that's his own fault though. Like his results at the start of the season weren't great, but I don't think that's all down to him. I think it was down to the setup and his attitude after last season.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I think he definitely didn't help things in terms of like, and some of the performances. I mean, it's come out obviously, yeah, he was doing a lot of the experimental setups, weren't he? So that's probably explains why he was so far off in like Saudi and like other racetracks and stuff like that. But he has genuinely been. I know Alonso's as well as another one who's had really bad luck this year. Him and Alonso, I think, have just had the worst luck when it's come to like safety cars and like incidences and stuff like that. Where I mean, stuff like Spain, where he made a great start, and then was obviously had that contact with Magnussen, which was just a racing incident, and he genuinely looked like he had the pace to win that race. Whether he would have or not, I don't know. But it's hard. It's hard. I do think he'll should be able to get a win latter off the season, but I can always hope.
In my, I know this isn't related at all, but in my career mode, just hear me out, okay? Just
No,
hear me
no,
out.
I'm all for it.
Lando won Hungary actually, and he's been pretty quick here. But it was Red Bull, Ferrari were doing okay, but Mercedes won. Where did they win? They won all the Asian tracks in like Singapore and Japan, and they really started picking it up. So I think that's possible. I mean, Japan I think will be a great track for Merc and Red Bull. I think Ferrari might struggle a little bit. I don't know actually, because from what I've seen, the Ferrari's good in the slow speed corners.
it's the like
So
mechanical
Singapore,
grip
they'll
corners.
be pretty good.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. But then you'd say that. I mean, they do tend to. Yeah, you're right. In the slow speed mechanical grip corners, they seem to be better. But yeah, the Mercedes. I mean, that's basically what Hungary is. I know Hungary has a few like sort of, especially in the back end of the middle sector. It's got a few like quick corners, but it is mainly like quite slow mechanical grip corners, and yet they didn't get the pole. It's just weird. It's weird, but I do think, yeah, if they just understand that car even that little bit more, then they'll definitely be up there challenging. Because there's no doubt it is a great race car. It's just they've always struggled in qualifying, trying to get the tyres in the temperature window and stuff like that. So all they need to do is qualify well, and they should be within a great shout. And obviously George is in the best shout of them all tomorrow, so we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. It's the go on.
Moving back to the actual race, Mitch has set a solid lap.
Yeah.
So I think Mitch could be on for a top 5 here, honestly.
I don't know. Obviously, I've seen what he did in last weekend, which was he had moments where he showed real good pace, but I don't actually know too much about his pace overall. So he genuinely could be. He genuinely could be in with a shout. That's what I mean, though. It's like I could call out a good 2 or 3 drivers that I think will be competitive, but in reality, I mean, they are all close to each other. So anything could. It's a really close field, I reckon, especially with the equal cars. Anyone could surprise us, I reckon.
So Jet is also racing, which is always shows up last minute because you get worried he's not going to show, and then he does. I'm a bit sad I'm not racing him. I'd like to beat him, but I guess I'll just have to watch someone else do it.
Yeah, you'll have to take satisfaction from that, I suppose.
Yeah, that's why I got Kurt in here, just to take my spot in.
Well, you're racing Kurt in realistic, aren't you? So you've got that.
Yeah, I think he's pretty quick in the Williams.
He is very. I was very lucky to get the podium. I'll be honest with you. If he hadn't
was he quicker than you?
I don't know. I don't think he weren't quicker than me. I was like maybe a couple of tenths. Well, to be fair, in the first stint he was keeping up with me. So I think we matched each other in the first stint. But in the second stint, in clear air, I was a good maybe 2 or 3 tenths a lap quicker than him. But obviously, I had the penalty, it didn't make up. Like I couldn't obviously get the gap. But then I think he just made a mistake, ran wide, and allowed me to gain enough time and. Yeah, just pulled it out on him on the last lap. So, but he to be that quick in a Williams is ridiculous. Like he should have got a podium in realistic in a Williams on pure merit. Just like
I think he'll be the driver of the season, probably just with what he can do in the Williams. I think damn impressive.
Again, yeah, you'll be hard not to look at him for
that. I think the official lobby is going up.
Yeah, the Zig did invite me.
You'll have to invite me.
Well,
yeah, you'll have to invite me.
Zig did invite me. I joined, and then he left again. So I'm not actually in the lobby.
Join off him again.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't.
Oh,
I'll have
okay.
to ask for a invite.
We should have 16 drivers tonight, which is pretty good. It's a shame we can't quite get to the 1920 mark. A lot of drivers can't make it, which is a shame. We've got 6 people who can't race.
Mm.
And tomorrow we've got 17, so that's good.
Yeah, good numbers, good numbers. Just wait for an invite.
Yeah, I'm helpless on this account.
I'll send you an invite once I'm in.
Yeah,
I'll send you an
thanks.
invite. Oh, is that it? Right, yeah, I think I'm in. So let me invite you.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, it's no bother whatsoever. As you are.
Thank you. Right. Now the stream follows me. Oh, I've got the fucking music on. They're gonna copyright, I bet.
Oh,
They had an
wow.
issue with that. Let me just turn it off.
Yeah.
EA, just stop being dicks. I'm turning it off. Alright.
It's too late, mate. They're already filing the
Ah,
lawsuits.
fucking.
They've already got the lawyers ready.
Who is that ice? Which one I get kicked?
Oh, I should, to be honest, I should just kick you myself. It'd give you plenty of satisfaction. Right, people are joining. We're only 4 minutes away to the start. So, if we're going to get our final predictions, then, if I'm going to pressure you for a pole position winner, TB, who are you going to say off the bat?
I'm not sure.
Right.
Oh, Jeff.
Wow. You're boring.
I'm sorry. Someone was talking to me.
Right.
You asked me the question, and my
I see.
focus was just not
I
there.
see.
So
I'm
say it
not.
again, please.
I'm not on your.
sorry.
I'm not on your 100% attention. Right. Okay. No, that's fine. I get it. I'll be fine.
No. Just say it again.
I was just
Say it again.
I was just going to press you for a last minute prediction for pole position winner.
Okay. I'm going with Kurt then.
Yeah, I think it has to, really, doesn't it? And then I'll ask you again in terms of a race winner once qualifying is done. We have to keep track of
Race
the
winner.
race winner. I don't feel comfortable asking you yet because I think that really does depend on where everyone's qualified. So once qualifying's ended, I'll ask you the question and see if your answer changes. But we all have to keep track of these predictions to see who's actually the better predictor, I suppose.
Who did you predict last week to win?
I predicted Jet, I believe.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Well, no, genuinely, I think I did. No, don't take that away from. I think no, I don't know if I predicted him to win. I just predicted him to be the one to look out for. I don't know if I said win or not. I can't remember.
I wonder if they'll come together, and Tycho wins, or someone like Matt wins.
You know
Don't
what? I
know.
can sort of see something like that happening. I can see something like,
Spicy.
especially if Kurt starts on the hards like he said he might do. If he starts on like the slower tyre and Jet has the run on him in the first few laps and tries a move, they both collide, they're out, and then yeah, someone else comes through to win. It could all well be possible. Who knows?
Mm.
That's the fun. I think we've got 10 in. I think we're just waiting for. Is it another six? Is there 16?
We've got 10 at the moment. I believe we're still missing 5 people.
Yeah, I think we're just working through the invites now. I think we are getting there. Someone invite. Who I have?
Right, I think we're struggling to get people in here. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
I think
It's
I've
not that
just
hard to just join, but whatever.
I've just sent a few. Well, I've just sent an invite out to I think Legendary Louis, who was asking for what.
This race.
Yeah.
Have to back my old racing pal, but
Hmm. We'll have
I've
to
almost
keep.
been racing with him longer than you actually.
Really?
Actually, I have. I've known Mitch
Not
longer
long
than any.
after that, and I think it was fair to say that I had the measure on you on most occasions, but now I think we're pretty much equal. To be fair, so
Mm.
you have improved a lot.
Yeah, it's been a long journey. I think it just clicked. I remember last game was where
Hmm.
it really
I
happened.
think it just does. Yeah, it just literally. I remember that with being me. Obviously, when I converted from pad to, because I used to be really good on the pad, and then obviously I got my wheel. I wanted to try the wheel out, and I was really struggling with the wheel for like a long, long time. But then all of a sudden, it just sort of, as you say, it just sort of like clicked together, and I was like, oh right, yeah, I'm actually racing the wheel now. It was weird.
Yeah, yeah, it is really just a it just happens.
It's literally you can't really explain it, can you? You're sort of like you on one day you're like not really happy with your pace and stuff. It's not really clicking for you, and then the next day you're like, oh right, I can actually race now. Yay! But I think we've got everyone in the lobby now, so I think we're going to start. Should be
Um,
good. Right, let's get the. So let's just remind everyone of the standings. That is probably a good because we haven't actually done that yet, have we? So let's just have a quick rundown of the standings before we get into the qualifying session. So, in the lead is Jet with the win in Australia last time out, followed by Tycho. Then,
Oh, sorry about
is that an ice cream van?
that.
Is
Yes,
that an
he's
ice?
always coming round at 8 o'clock or
He
so.
wants to be part of the stream. Let him. Go on. He clearly wants the
We should get a few
attention.
ice creams in.
Right, before that happened, so Jet is currently leading, followed by Tychopath. Then we have Matt in third, Zig in fourth, Don't Blink in fifth, Kane Prime in sixth, Testarossa in seventh, Aeromich in eighth, Kieran Orme in ninth, and Slav in 10th. So that is the point scorers from last race. So we'll see how that. I can imagine it's going to look a lot different come the end of this race, but we'll see. But yeah, qualifying is just about to start. Who's going to lead or be the first car out on track? It looks to be Matt in the Mercedes, if I'm correct. Yep. So he's going to be the first one out onto the track. For a guy who's had very little practice, as we saw in the pre-race interview, so he might just want to I don't even know if he's going to go for a straight lap or he's going to maybe get 1 or 2 laps in. I don't know. But he's actually followed out by both of the Alfa Romeos.
Going out
I'm
now.
about to say they're all leading out. That's very busy start. But
Just gonna say it's good to see Slinky on the track. He
Yes.
took him a while to get the game.
yes, sorry, I've completely
And then did
missed
get
that.
it and couldn't race, so it's good to see him back. He really
Definitely,
improved towards the end of the
definitely.
last game, so we'll
Yeah.
see what he can do in his first race of this season.
Yeah.
I think he'll be in the top
No,
10.
that's definitely right.
But we'll have to see. Everyone is on track apart from the
I
Haas.
think it's the House of Echo, I believe, who's not on
Matt
track.
is
So
first, so we'll stay on board with him
yeah.
for the first lap. Okay. Let's hope there's no traffic here, because that's the last thing anyone wants.
Especially yeah, I think hopefully should be all right. They're all roughly spread out. There's a few cars clumped together, but I think they'll be able to find their own space and yeah, go for it. As I think Matt is just gearing for his lap now. Are you on board
Indeed,
with
he
him?
is. Yep.
Just gonna.
You can give your lap analysis if you
Here
want.
we
I'll
are.
just stay on board with him.
That's fine. So goes into turn one. Very heavy braking zone. Get it to the left hand side down into second. It's that. Oh, it's that apex. So he goes down to first place. Lost probably a good chunk of time there, but nevertheless on we go up into seventh gear. Peak braking zone out of the left hand side. Left. There we are. Turn it. Hits the apex. Nice. And there we are. Get the power down quite early on. End of the second sector, obviously gone purple, he's the first only one to go through it. Right, then left, and then swing it all the way to the left-hand side, wide entry, try and get the power down early, which I think he has done. Shift it all the way up to 6th, or is he going to reach 7th? He is going to go, such a tricky corner, trying to brake and turn at the same time. Then, starting on the DRS zone, first DRS zone of the lap, and then again, trying to make a wide entry as possible so we can hit that apex, get the power down early, and he's lost it. Bit too eager from Matt there, and he's trying to actually get him out of the way, which was quite
He needs to be careful here.
Yeah, I think he's just about managed to get himself out of that situation, but I can imagine that would have been quite off-putting for, was it Tychopath? Yeah, it was Tychopath. He sort of got in the way of there, but we'll see what lap he puts through now. It's going to be a 29 flat, so a solid benchmark for the time
And that's a
being.
decent lap, actually.
Yeah, Destin Prime goes just behind him. Legendary Louis 29.2, so is 2 seconds off. They've got another spinner, which is Slinky, I think. Unfortunately for him, as Aero Mitch, your driver to watch out for, has gone provisional pole, the 28.9. Who's next out on track?
Good lap.
Across the line. I think it's Crazy Mittens. I think he might just be a little bit off the
On board with
pace.
him.
Yep, goes across
Yeah,
the
second
line, I
off,
think.
fifth.
Is the
Reverse.
Haas going? Right, I think.
Curtis set a purple sector 1.
I'm about to say, I think I've just got on board with him. Purple Sector 1 indeed. As Zig goes in 5th place, and then Kieran Norley replaces him with a 29.6. So I think of that everyone, yeah. So I think the next person will probably be Kurt, I believe, to cross the line next, won't it? Yeah, I believe so.
I believe
So,
Testaros is on a lap as well, actually.
yeah, Testros, I believe. Oh, he's
Just lost
span.
it.
Yeah, he just span in the first sector.
We'll stay on board with Kurt.
I think Echo actually has just taken the fastest first sector time off Kurt, so it'll be interesting to see how he goes about that as we go back on board with Kurt, who's just set a purple middle sector. So this should be provisional pole, barring any mishaps in the final corner. We do see I have a car just ahead, but that's not going to affect him. Early on the power, which he has been doing. Good stuff. Is he going to go into the pits? Right. So, to be fair,
Expecting that.
looking at the times, I don't actually think he was going to go quicker. I know we were seeing some purple sectors, but I don't know if that was actually... yeah, I don't know if that was actually real, those purple sectors, but he decided to abort that lap, and I think Echo is just invalidated. So, after the first runs, it's Aero Mitch with the pole position, provisional pole, a 10th from Tycho, and Legendary Louis in 3rd. But
Pretty much 2 tenths actually. The gap from second, so good
Yeah.
lap from Mitch.
yeah, definitely a good lap from Mitch. I think the drivers have shown, because it's such a wider track and you feel like you've got that extra time on the table. It's so easy just to put the power down that little bit too much or that little bit too quickly, and that ends up lighting the rears. But I think Glenn is just on a first sector at the minute. He's 2 tenths down, so I don't know if he's going to be improving on his time at the minute.
No.
But
A lot of drivers not on laps. We'll go on board with Echo, who I believe is on a lap.
yeah,
I don't know. I think everyone pretty much came out at the same time.
yeah,
Matt as well, who
about
didn't get to complete his first lap after that spin, so he'll be going again. I think he's going for one now, actually, as we speak. So we'll stay on board with him.
yeah. We'll see how his first sector is. Drops it down nice and early. Again, really loses the rear. Seems to be struggling in that Merc, but he sets a 28.9, which is a decent first sector. I think is it Glenn comes to finish his lap? No, he's going straight into the pit, so he's decided to abort on that one. Echo, I think, is just about to complete his lap. Where does that put him? It puts that 9th. It was a 30.5.
Good lap.
Yeah, good lap, good lap. See, again, quite a closely competitive. You see quite a few drivers only separated by hundredths of a second, so very, very close by the looks of things. We'll see what a second sector. And Matt's lost it again. And I think, well, again, if we can trust that demographic, I think that was a purple middle sector. But
I don't think it was. I think it might be in glitch.
I was about to say, I don't know if that's totally trustworthy or not. But a lot of people, I think, just heading out for their outlap. So I think Legendary Louis just starting a lap
Jet's
now.
on a purple sector 1, so I'm staying on board with him.
Yep. 28.4, so that was at least half a second clear of what Matt did, I think, in the first sector. So we'll stay on board with him. Try and get it. Yeah, that's nice. He did not locked up any of the front brakes. DRS down this back straight. Try and get as wide as possible for the best turn in. Try and hit the curb, but not too much, as it tends to light up the rears, as he tends to struggle with the back end there, does Jet. Try and take that tight line. Again, a purple middle sector. Seems to be a really good lap from Jet here. Again, struggling with the rear. And a lot of drivers really struggling to get the power down. But only one more corner to go then for Jet, our championship leader at the minute. Is he going to take pole position, or provisional pole, should I say, away from Mitch? It looks like he will as he heads to the line. It's going to be... Ooh!
Only just.
He
Far off.
slots in.
That is a mighty lap from Mitch.
It is a very good lap from Mitch as Jet just goes, again, just narrowly behind him. Wow.
Mitch is starting his next lap, so we'll stay on board with him.
Yep, not a problem. So that lap turning out to be a lot better, but I think Kurt is just going to come and finish his lap. And there we are, 28-0. So, yeah, I think that kind of puts into a prospect his pace at the minute. But Mitch, I believe, is nearly half a tenth up on his current best.
Yeah, very wide there.
Yeah.
The curb.
We'll see who else is nearly
I
finishing.
did miss Louis going P2.
Oh, yep, sorry, so did I. So he's now up into second place with a 28.8. I keep on track to see who might be finishing their laps, right? So I think Glenn and JG are just about to start there. So I think the next car would be a McLaren of Testarossa, who is also on an outlap. So I think it'll be Aero Mitch who's next across the line, and I think he's just matching his time at the minute. So he needs to pull something out. Well, needs to pull something special out of this last corner if he's going to take that second place back from Legendary Louis. And he takes that corner quite nicely.
Looks like he's going in the pits.
Yeah, he was very, very cautious on the exit there, weren't he? So yeah, he's decided to abort that one.
I think Tycho's on a lap.
Zig is just about to complete his, and Sig goes 5th. So if you look from Mitch down to Tycho in 6th, it's just over a 10th.
Good lap from Tycho.
As Tycho, as I say that, just goes 2nd with a 28.6. So people finding more pace now as they're gaining that little bit more confidence with the rear end. It's going to go nice.
Kieran also improved. Glenn's up by 3/10. Or
Right,
rubber,
yeah.
should I say.
I think I've just seen Matt starting a lap now, so I'll stay on board with him, see how he does. Obviously yet to post a time because he's been struggling as Matt this session.
Glenn's up by 7/10, so this should put him in the top 6. I think.
Right, okay. See if he can get the final corner right, which I think he's just about nailed. Gets the power down. Is this going to propel him up the leaderboard? You'd imagine so. Into 7th. So again, slots into that 29.0. So again, from Mitch down to Glenn, barely a 10th. And that covers 4 positions. Very, very close regarding the 4th to 7th positions there. And if you stretch out to the Legendary Louis, well, there's only a further 10th ahead. Testarossa I've just seen jump to 10th with a 29.8. Matt, I think, has posted a very competitive first sector. And he's just invalidated. He's just invalidated.
You can see the paces there.
Yeah, he's definitely got it. I think
Consistency might not be.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think I just need to stop going on board with Matt, because every time I do, he seems to go wrong for him. So I think Echo has just posted a 28.6 for the first sector, so 3/10 better than his own, but a good probably half second off the quickest. We'll see where this lands him.
Echo up by 3/10 as well, so this could put him in the top 10.
Yep. I think Glenn ahead is probably going into the pits, so we'll stay on board with Echo. Yeah, he's maintained that well, just under 3/10 now, so 2.5 tenths. As Echo now comes to the line, where is this lap going to put him? It moves him up into P11 as Jet now starts his lap. So we'll stay on board with Jet. Or what might be his last lap of the session, don't know yet.
I'm just having some food, so I'm just gonna mute myself, but you
Yep.
can take the reins.
I'll take it away, not a problem. as Jet gets nice and tight to the apex. Posts at 28.4, so just off his personal best, and he loses control. So unlucky for Jet there. Is someone just about to start a lap, I believe? I think that's Kurt. I think Kurt is just starting a lap, so probably not on board with me right now, but I'll keep you updated on Kurt's pace. Nearly loses it out of the second corner.
It's all good.
Alright.
I'll follow whoever you talk about, don't worry.
Right, not a problem. And I think Kurt has just backed out of this one, so we'll then go on board with, I think, is that the... no. Who's about to finish their lap? Trying to find him, is that Don't Blink? Oh, Don't Blink's just about to start his lap, so... Again, not posted a time on the board, he really does need to get a time up there. If he's wanting a good grid position. I know he's a quick driver, so he's definitely got the pace in him. He's just obviously, like Matt, been running into some issues thus far. I think Matt is just gearing up to his lap, so stay on board with Don't Blink as he finishes the first sector. What is it going to be? It's going to be a 28.5, so probably looking at around that sort of like 6th, 7th area with the first sector like that. But we'll stay on board with him as he, again, horrible corner, see if he picks his braking zone right, which he does. Actually done very nice, actually. Drops into first gear, which is a bit surprising, but he now continues on with the DRS. So we do have a car ahead of him who I believe should get out of the way fairly quickly. Yeah, which he does. So Don't Blink still continue on with his lap. Very nice and tidy so far. Again, showing us a purple middle, but I don't quite believe that's the case. But he's looking to be almost quite a neat lap from him so far. So we'll see if this can propel him anywhere near that sort of top 10 area as we go across the line. Where does this put him? Puts him 8th. So he'll be glad to finally get that lap on the board as I go back on board with Matt, who is doing a 1.68 overall for the first two sectors, which I think is quite a bit faster than Don't Blink's right now. So we might be looking at maybe even a top 5 here from Matt if he manages to get this lap under control, which he does. So we're going to quickly go towards the line. And that is 2nd place. Wow. So with barely any practice, Matt has managed to provisionally get himself onto the front row of the grid as we try and keep up in terms of who is finishing their laps. I think Testarossa... No, it's not Testarossa. Is it Legendary Lou who's just about to finish his lap? Yes, it is. So we'll see if he can improve on 4th place. Heading to the line. I think he might... He does. He now takes 2nd place back off Matt. So they're
Great lap.
Very good laps there. Everyone is edging closer to Kurt. We'll see who else is...
Ziggs lost it.
Oh.
Turn 2.
Yeah. So that doesn't look like an improve on 7th place. We have a Alfa Romeo, I believe, just about to start his lap. Just trying to keep a track on everybody. It's quite a swarm at the last corner. So I think Slinky's about just to go into the pits. We've got Echo just starting his lap. I think we've got Tycho just starting his lap. Who have we got just behind Tycho?
Kurt is up by 10th and a half in the first. Oh, Lewis is retired.
Oh, as you retired on? Yeah, I think
I don't
that's
know how
happened.
he's done that.
Yeah, I don't know. To be fair, but I've just seen Testros who's going to cross the line. Where's this going to put him? That puts him up into P11.
Oh, Matt's lost it.
Oh, so that's going to be no improvements for him then. I'm on board with Tychopath, who is pretty much matching his first sector. So if he has any chance of breaking into that top 3, he's going to have to keep with this lap. I think Mitch is also on a lap, but I don't think he's going to be. Yeah, he's not going to improve on that 5th place. Jet is just under a 10th quicker on his lap, so he could be one to look out for as well. So we'll stay on board with Tychopath here because he's going to be the first one to finish, I believe, out of the first two.
Aaron goes 5th quickest.
He does, yeah. So what is Jet doing? Jet is 4/10 up on his current lap time, so that is currently good enough to maybe challenge for 2nd place here, which I think Tycho is about to challenge for right now. Is he going to improve on his lap time? He will. He goes 3rd. But what about Jet? Steals 2nd place right back. So I think is Glenn coming into the pits, and so is Don't Blink. So that is your qualifying
That is the
session.
end.
Yeah, that is your qualifying
Pretty close
session.
there.
Definitely. Kurt managing to he set that lap quite early on in the session, but still manages to keep the pole time of a 1:28.031. Then followed by Jet, who got within 3/10 of him, so that's very good going from him. Legendary Louis doing very well on in the McLaren there to get into P3. Tycho, an improved showing by him. Very close to getting 3rd place there, but will be on the 2nd row nonetheless in 4th. And then I think it was Matt in 5th, but we'll give you a full classification once the standings come up. So there we have it then. Kurt, as I mentioned, I think he was probably the favourite for pole heading into it, but he just re-established that. Jet in 2nd, again, very good lap. Going to be very feisty to see what happens in the first corner between those two. Legendary Louis in 3rd, Tycho in 4th, Matt in 5th, Kieran Normie again impressing in 6th, Aero Mitch in 7th place after setting the pace early on, just slips through the field a little bit there. Zig in 8th, Glenn or Eurobrush GT in 9th, Don't Blink in 10th, Testarossa in 11th, Destin Preemed in 12th, JG in 13th, Echo in 14th, Slinky Malinky in 15th, and Crazy Mittens in 16th. Well, that is your qualifying session. Very, very interesting. Quite a lot of mistakes going on in that session as drivers are trying to push for that lap time. But yeah, so as for, well, watching that qualifying session, who am I going to go for as one to watch this race? Ooh, it's a very, very good question. Obviously, Kurt showing quite superior pace throughout that qualifying session, I reckon, so he's definitely going to be one of the favourites for the win, but obviously didn't manage to finish the race last weekend, so I'm probably going to go for... you know what? I'm going to back Legendary Louis in 3rd to get a good result here. He showed quite a lot of fight in the pre-season race in France, so I'll back him to have a good result here. He'll be my driver to watch out for. We'll see if I'm proven right in about half hour's time. But yeah, should be a very competitive grid. We'll see what tyre strategies everyone's going out for. We'll see if Kurt is going to be a man of his word and is going to start on the hard tyre. Well, he said he was going to start on it if the pace was quite close, which I think it was quite close in that session, actually. So we'll have a look. And I believe he is starting on the hard tyre, so let's get everyone's tyres up. Wow, so quite a variety there. So we've got Kurt starting on the hards, Jet in 2nd on the mediums, then we've got Legendary Louis and Tychopath both opting for the hard tyres as well. Matt in 5th starting on the soft, so expect to see him fly off the line. Kieran Ormy and Aaron Mitch again, well, going much like Kurt, Louis and Tychopath on the hard tyres. Then from Zig all the way down to JG in 13th, they've opted for the medium tyres. Echo in 14th opting for the softs, and then Slinky and Crazy Mittens opting for the medium tyre. So a nice variety there. It's going to be interesting to see if Kurt can hold off Jet who is starting on a softer compound tyre, alongside him on the front row. But I think the one to look out for will be Matt in 5th. We saw in the realistic race last weekend how good he is at starts when everyone else is on a harder compound around him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was mixing it up there with the front two into the first corner. And yeah, we'll see if the lower reaches of the points, as Zig, Eurobus GT, or Don't Blink can make a few positions for maybe both the Red Bulls of Kieran, Normie, and Mitch. But very interesting to see the different strategies as Kurt has speeded off into the distance. Not quite sure. He does love that tactic. I'm not quite sure how that works out for him, because surely you'd think his tyres would just be getting cold, but that's the way he likes to do it. So as he takes his position, we have Jet and the rest of the pack now just going on to the main straight. Here we are then. I think the rest of the pack is just queuing up now.
Back just in time.
Back
Apologies
just
for my
in time.
disappearance. But we're ready to go.
We are indeed. So, as the 5 red lights continue to go out, 4, 5, and away we go. And it looks like Jet does
Matt's got a
have
great start.
the better start. And Matt from 5th already up into 3rd place.
Oh!
And I think we've had some Oh, has Legendary Lou been retired?
I think he lost it.
Has he lost it?
I'm not
couldn't
sure
get
what happened
on-
there.
I couldn't get on board quick enough for that, unfortunately. I think JG's just been hit with a 5-second penalty for a contact with Testarossa. I think we immediately have a safety car here. And is there a Williams I can see without a front wing? Possibly. I think that might be... Oh no, that was just my camera playing up. So I thought Don't Blink didn't have a front wing for a second there, but... And Zig has just got a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags, so quite a crazy start to begin with. But Kurt manages to keep his lead. I thought Jet might have had the initial better getaway, but he's managed to keep it. But Matt, I told you to look out for him, up from 5th position, up into 3rd. Tycho and Aeromich managing to hold position in 4th and 5th on the hard tyres.
Mitch has actually gained too.
Oh, Mitch has actually, sorry,
Glenn's
gained
going
too. It's Kieran
3.
Orme I'm getting mixed up with, yeah. It's Kieran Orme I'm getting mixed up with. So Kieran Orme actually, I think, has missed out a little bit, hasn't he? He has, yeah. But
I believe we're back racing.
oh, was it a virtual safety car? Oh, right.
Yeah.
I thought it was a full safety car. So we are back racing. We'll see if Matt can try and challenge the leaders on them soft tyres. But Jet is already looking impatient, as he possibly was trying to look for the inside there. To no avail, but he's got a good run on Kurt now. Look at him in slipstream. Is this going to be a change for the lead on only the 2nd lap? He's going to possibly look onto the outside as Jet. Matt just holding back for the time being, trying to maybe see if we can capitalise on this. But Jet, around the outside, makes the move stick on Kurt, who
Matt's got a good run here.
Matt
He's
really
been
good,
blocked a
well
little
for yeah, for really good for company. Is Matt now going to try to do what Jet did, and go around the outside? I think he is. And again, I think he's going to try and make the... Oh, there was a little bit of contact, but he's made the move stick. So Kurt going from 1st all the way down to the 3rd. I see the 2 Red Bulls going side by side. I think Mitch hasn't had the best of getaways under the
A lot
VSC.
of contact back there.
Yep. Don't Blink again, making
More
the
contact.
opportunistic move on the outside, but he's got the move done. Sakira Normie back down into... Well, I think he's even lost the position there, down in 8th. But Mitch is now... he's now held on to 6th. So Don't Blink up into 7th. He's gained 3 places on the start. Great start by him, but we have a yellow flag at the back.
Yellow flag at the back. Crazy Mittens and Slinky.
Yes.
Not sure what happened there.
Yes, I'm not too sure either. But we'll go back to the front, where I think Jet is now looking to just ease away with it, as Matt looks to try and hold off Kurt. Well, Despite being on two generations of softer tyres than Kurt is, I think them soft tyres aren't going to last all too long. So we'll see how long Matt can hold Kurt off as Jet now looks to build that second gap. Tycho in fourth has Glenn for company, who then dives up the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? No, Tycho hangs it on around the outside. Good defending from Tycho
Great
there.
defending there.
Great defending indeed. And
He's coming back at him though.
oh, yep, I've decided to move away from it. But yeah, I think I think Glenn.
Tycho turned in a bit too early there.
Yeah, Glenn
That was
dived
just from
on the
my point of view.
inside, but yeah, Tycho tried to follow his line and then just turned in on Glenn. But yeah, I don't think any of them was damaged from that, so I think it's just the position lost from Tycho's perspective, which probably in hindsight might not be too bad a thing. As I think JG,
one of the Aston Martins.
yes, JG is just span and is losing now at the back of the grid now. So not been a great start for him. But Jet was never able to get out of that DRS range, so Matt now possibly looking for a move.
Matt needs to get in front and
yeah.
create a gap with those tyres. He's hoping for a safety car.
Oh, and he's just spanned.
Um,
He's just spanned. Matt has just spanned from second place.
Oh, I've lost it. He needs to be careful. Re-entering.
He's kept.
Do you know what happened there?
He just lost it under pure. That was just his own doing. There weren't any contacts with him. I think he just lost it under traction out of that corner. So unfortunately, that great start completely undone, and he's just span again. I think he's just he's not too happy with himself there. Just a little bit frustrated, and that's led to two spins. So he's really now praying for a safety car if he's going to have any chance of getting back into this race. But Kurt, in the meanwhile, takes advantage and is now just half a second behind Jet, as I think Tycho is now looking to get back past Glenn for the final podium positions, and Aeromich and Don't Blink is keeping up with him quite well here. In fact, we've got a little bit of a train forming behind Glenn, so whether his pace just isn't quite there at the time being, it's on the medium compound tyre, so tyre shouldn't be an issue at this stage. But I think the hard compound, to be fair, I think the hard compound runners are finding a little bit more grip at this stage as Kurt closes in on the back of Jet and Tycho and Mitch closes on the back of Glenn. Kurt is now really getting real close to a Jet now as we enter the final sector.
He's going to have the DRS.
Yeah, he looks it. He looks like he will.
Oh!
Oh,
And Mitch
did I
has
miss
lost
something?
it.
Oh, he has, yes.
He needs
Mitch
to be
was doing
careful
so
re-entering the track
well.
here.
Oh, as the
That wasn't too careful.
Alfa Romeo just takes avoiding action. So, Mitch, unfortunately, again, a good start undone by a spin early on here, as Kurt did have DRS but wasn't able to make the move, but he might look to try and have a go at this corner here if he gets the right traction. 4/10 is quite close, but I don't think the straight's going to be long enough for him, as Tycho's looking very close to Glenn here. I think Tycho's looking to go onto the outside, on the outside of him. Hopefully no contact this time, which there isn't, but Tycho's going to stick it round the outside.
Solid
Great move. Great racecraft there from Tycho, being patient and just letting the grip on the outside come to him, and he is now up into the final podium place. So we'll see if Kieran Orme can follow him through on the hard tyre, because it looks like the hard compound tyred runners have a little bit more pace at this stage in the Grand Prix, which is very surprising. But Kurt just again keeping within that half-second range of Jet. And we'll see if Glenn can keep on the back of Tycho, who seems to just be eking out that space. Still within a second, so he might find it difficult, but Kieran Orme all over the back of Don't Blink there. I think, has Don't Blink got past Kieran Orme in the past few corners? I thought...
He has. I think
thought-
Dubling's made up a lot of positions. He's made up 5 positions.
Wow,
As well
what
as
a-
Glenn. Oh, it's been a spin.
Is it
Slinky
Slinky?
Malinky.
Yeah.
Not the results he wants.
No,
A
his
lot of drivers
first
seeming
race.
to be struggling to keep it on track. Looks like
Yeah. Oh,
Blink thinking about a move there into turn 1, but can't quite pull it
Yeah.
off. Kieran Orme right on his rear.
yeah. Don't Blink really does have a lot of pace at this stage of the Grand Prix. Is he going to try and think of a move down the inside? He is. Glenn's going to try and cover it, but he won't have the capabilities of doing so. But is he going to stick it around the outside? He will, and I think he is going to keep that position. So I'd say a good defending from Glenn, but in doing so, he has fallen out of the DRS from Tycho in front. So that's going to leave him very vulnerable in the coming laps if he can't get back into that gap. And as I go back on to Kurt in second, still
One of the
within
Aston
half a
Martins
second.
has gone off again.
Is it Jet? Oh,
JG,
I think
so-
he's retired. So really not.
Another retirement.
Yes,
for
so early. I think Slinky Malinky makes up a place. I don't know whether Echo just made a mistake there. I'm not too sure. Matt has been slowly gaining on the pack in front, obviously after his earlier spins in front. So he'll be hoping just for a safety car just to get him back into this race. But Glenn still doesn't have the DRS from Tycho, so Don't Blink will be really looking to put a move on here into the first corner. Which he does. He gets a good exit, so we'll keep on board with him. I think Kurt is looking quite close as well, but can't quite get the move done. Does Don't Blink have the straight line speed this time round? It doesn't look like he does, although he does break a lot later, and he gets...
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, that was bad on Don't Blink's part. He just had he broke so much later than Glenn and went straight into the back of him. I think he's got wing damage, and he has spun Glenn round. So that is really not good on Don't Blink's part. Just an honest mistake. I think he just misjudged his braking point, and yeah, really, really not good for him or Glenn. It's quite a shame because again,
That's a big shame. He was having a great start, so
yeah,
maybe the pressure's getting to him a bit there.
definitely. So, but yeah, I'm sure the stewards will have fun looking at that one. But I'm pretty sure I saw a little bit of a front wing come off his car, but he's managed to pull a gap to Kieran Orme, so maybe he didn't. I'm not too sure, although to be fair, he's just gotten back into that. So yeah, I think in these higher speed corners he is struggling compared to those around him, as Kurt again is just half a second behind Jet. If he gets a good run here, he might have a chance of that.
One of the
lead into
Mercedes
turn
has
one.
lost it of
It looks
Matt
like
once
Matt,
again.
yeah. Unfortunately for him.
Seems like a lot of drivers who were having great starts haven't seemed to have continued that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate because, as I say, we had quite a lot of movers, but I think Kurt is really looking to make the move on Jet this time around as Matt spins again, I believe. Yeah, he's getting really close just now, Kurt, so... I mean, what do you do if you're Jet? You've pulled out quite a gap to Tycho in third, and obviously with all the drama happening behind him, do you try and maybe pit early to try the undercut, or do you try and eke this first stint out, try and match? If you can keep Kurt behind you, try and eke the first stint out a little bit so he has fresher tyres towards the end. I don't know, but to be honest, he might not have a say in it. It's this time around. I thought Kurt might have just had him there, but I think Jet using his battery, I think, quite well there to keep
Mitch
him
getting
behind
very
him.
close to Destined. He's going to look to make a move here. The Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, he's very, very close, isn't he?
That gets a penalty and he has retired. Yeah, just not the way he wanted to start this race.
No.
I think the practice is key, and obviously, as you said, he hadn't. You know, he's clearly got the pace, but consistency isn't there at all.
No, unfortunately not. No, it's definitely not the race he would have wanted, but Kurt is really looking to challenge for the lead into the first corner. Oh, he just thought better off at the last minute, but what is this? It's Don't Blink pits. So we'll see if he changes his front wing during the pit stop to see if he did have damage or not, which I think they are doing, yeah. So it's going to be an extra long pit stop for him. And who is that's gone off to the side? Is that
It's Matt's
Is the Matt's Mercedes? Right, okay. Right, so we'll not need
Mitch
to
has
worry
got a good
about
run
that.
on Destined here. He's going to go for a move, I think, into turn 4.
Yep. Is he going to go to the outside? I think he is. He's going to just do the switch back. Can he get the traction out of the corner? I think
quite.
he's just lacking it, but it was a good thought out move from Mitch. Is he going to try it into this hairpin here? He might do. He is.
He does.
Goes down the inside. Does Destin have the drive on the outside to keep ahead of him? No, he doesn't, and he nearly loses it in the
Ooh,
process.
Big snap there.
But
Good move from Mitch, putting the pressure on.
definitely, he's now up into 8th place, trying to claw back them positions from that spin earlier. As the front two continue to pull away from the pack. Tycho now fairly comfortable in 3rd. He's got a 3-second gap to Kieran Ornery behind him, but he is now 7.5 seconds behind the front two. So, unless anything drastic happens, which it might do into this first corner,
I think Kurt's close enough this time.
Kurt is very much close enough, so he might be thinking of a move. Is Jet going to defend it on the inside? You think he would? He does, but it's a little
Squeezes
bit
him
late.
a little bit.
Yeah, he breaks late enough though to be on the outside to have the drive. I think Kurt's going to duck back in behind him, but he doesn't quite get the drive, and I don't think he'll be close enough into that as Zig and Kieran Normie go wheel to wheel. I think Zig's just passed Kieran Normie up into 4th place. So
Drive from Zig.
very good drive. I know he picked up the early
Quiet.
penalty, but I think it's
There's
the
a yellow flag.
it's
one of the
Eurobus.
Alpines.
It's Glenn in the Alpine who span. So he'll be now in the lower reaches of the points after such a good start and battling for a podium position, having obviously been spun out by Don't Blink. No fault of his own, but yeah, he's now
Yeah, I think
his
that's
race
put him
took a
off,
turn
to
for
be
the
honest.
rose. Yeah, it was it was just unfortunate. As I said, I think Don't Blink just misjudged his braking zone, but Kurt is now really close to a Jet run now. If I was Jet, I'd be possibly considering maybe doing an early pit stop here, because it doesn't look like he's going to be able to keep Jet behind him for much longer. Jet using more ERS than Kurt in the process of trying to keep him behind, so we'll see if Kurt can have a run onto him into the first corner. Jet using that ERS, going down, uses quite a lot of
He's even
it actually,
closer
to be
this
fair.
lap.
But it might not be in, well, it's going to be in vain, as I think he's going to look onto the inside. Is Kurt? No, he thinks better off it. He thinks of trying to get the traction all the way down to turn 3 or 4. Or he can't quite get the
Going
traction
into
out of
turn
that
4 now.
corner there, going into turn 4. Yeah, he can't quite get the traction out of that 2 and 3 complex to really put it into, well, try and challenge him into that turn 4. So might have to rethink his strategy there, Kurt. But Tycho just solidly keeping 3rd place. I think, as I said, he's built that gap up to now 3.5 seconds from Zig behind him, who does also have a penalty, but he's a fair bit off the front two. So proving to be a solid drive from Tycho for the time being. As Testarossa, I believe, just gets a penalty for track extending, which I don't think he'll be too happy about. It's a good recovery drive from Mitch in 7th. If he, I think he's pulled away from Destined in 8th, so he'll be looking to pull in the McLaren of Testarossa ahead of him, and that'll be looking at 6th place there, which would be quite good considering his earlier spin. But I think Jet has just locked up into the final corner, which might have just given Kurt an opportunity, although he looks to be quite far behind this time around, so I don't think he's going to make the move work. But we are getting to that stage of the pit window, so people, especially on the medium tyres, are going to be thinking of maybe making a stop. So we'll have to see. If Jet was to pit now, he'd be coming out around where Aero Mitch or probably where Destined is right now. So you'll be looking at quite a few cars ahead of him. Is it worth trying to get the undercut? Definitely not if you can't overtake, but I think we've seen from this race so far that overtaking is definitely possible, especially if you just have the better confidence and the better grip. But we'll see if we have any pit stops coming to us in the next lap or two.
Yeah, I mean, we spoke about the closer racing, which we did have in the first few laps, but it's pretty big gaps at the moment between most of the
Yeah,
drivers.
yeah. As people have sort of settled into their positions, obviously people have made mistakes. The gaps have opened up, so we're getting to the stage of the Grand Prix where we'll start to see who has been tyre managing and who can sort of eke that first stint out as long as they can, while still keeping the pace, because it could make or break their race for them. But yeah, we're just in that. Kurt is again getting quite close to Jet. We've got I think, is it Glenn again in the Alpine spinning? So
Kieran Orme
really,
looking to make a move on Zig here.
oh yep, is he going to dive down the inside? Or he doesn't even need to, because he's going to be ahead of him into the braking zone. So that move really, really easy for Kieran Orme. Let's see.
Zig's coming back at him though. Not quite close enough there.
Not quite close enough that time around, but I think that will be, apart from the front two, that's the closest battle on track at the minute. Oh, Kurt is really, really close out of that corner, but again, I think, to be fair to Kurt, I think he's just sitting behind in the DRS. He knows he's got the longevity of the hard tyre to his advantage. He's just not using much of his DRS. I think he's either probably going to wait a few laps and wait for Jet to pit, so he has that clean air, and then really start pushing to try and gain that advantage. I think if he would have used more of his DRS, he would be past Jet by now. But I think he's just sitting behind him, trying to save what tyres he can. So hopefully later on in the stint, he can just stay, try and keep pace with Jet on the newer tyres, and maybe just eke out that gap. So later on in the race, it comes to him. But saying that,
close.
he is very close now. So are we going to maybe see a move? No. Yeah, he's being very conservative, is Kurt. So we'll just have to wait and see how that transpires. Zig in the DRS zone from Kieran Orme, but not quite close enough to get the move done. I think we should start seeing the medium runners pit. Probably, I'd imagine, maybe this or next lap. It's just really what Jet thinks will be the way forward here. Is he going to wait for others to pit, and then maybe that gap will appear for him to slot into, or is he going to, yeah, as I say that, quite a few of the medium runners of the lower reaches of the top 10 pit. So I think Jet might just be trying to eke out this first stint. If he can keep Kurt behind him for as long as he is, try and eke this first stint out as long as he can, so he has the fresh tyres at the end to try and combat the pace of Kurt on them medium tyres, because, yeah, I think Kurt's in a really good position right now. We'll see what he does this lap. Kurt is again really, really close. Oh, we've got a...
He's going to have a good run. I think Jet will pit here because he doesn't want to have that scrap with him. No, he stays out.
No, he stays out, as Glenn, I think, has just spun again. But Kurt, surely, with the use of ERS, is going to dive down the inside. Jet allows him. And is he going to again stay onto the outside? He does. And, oh, that's fair play, I think. I think the gap was there. And Jet still stays out in front, despite the obvious tyre disadvantage he has at this stage of the Grand Prix. I think, Zig and Testarossa have just pitted for their one and only pit stops. That frees Aero Mitch into 5th place. Where will these pit stops drop below him? Obviously, Zig serving his penalty in the pit stop, so I think that's why he's just dropped behind Testarossa. But I think they're going to come out very close to Don't Blink here. Yeah, in fact, they're going to be very... I think Don't Blink just behind him, but obviously Don't Blink with the warmer tyres might be on the outside. Yeah, good stuff from Don't Blink to gain the position back from Zig. We'll see if he can catch up to Testarossa and try and pass him, but I think Jet and Kurt are coming to the end of their lap now, so surely a thing with everybody else on the medium pitting that I think Don't Blink has actually got ahead of Testarossa this lap. Yes, he has, as the tyres try to get up to temperature. So does Jet pit this lap? You'd surely think so. I think, yes, he is. He's going to pit this lap. So this is where this is a really important part of the race for Kurt now. He needs to try and use all that battery and try and really push that pace now to try and see, or try and minimise the loss he's going to get from the undercut from Jet. Where does Jet come back out? He's going to come out behind both Red Bulls, I believe. Or he might be quite close to Mitch, actually, looking at this. He might be just in front of Mitch. Yeah, I think he is. There's a yellow flag for Crazy Mittens, who I believe has just spun. But yeah, Jet's can now come out in fourth, 2 seconds ahead of Aero and Mitch. So we'll see, depending on the warm-up of them hard tyres, if, yeah, Jet already weaving to try and get heat into them tyres to see if he can keep that position to Aero Mitch. Which he might be able to do, but it's going to be close. But yeah, Kurt, I think, go really wide there. I think he must have made a slight mistake, but kept the pace nonetheless. Really needs to push now and try and minimise the loss he's going to take from Jet
Mitch
in
is
the next
all on
few.
the rear of Jet.
Yeah, I've just switched
Big
over to him
contact there.
now. Jet really struggling on these cold, hard tyres. Oh.
Don't
And
think
I
there was
think-
contact there, actually.
No, I don't think there was. And Mitch gets that
Decent
position.
move from Mitch.
This is not what Jet needed. Jet needed to come out in fresh, clear air so he can get the pace, or keep the pace to Kurt. But being involved in a battle with Aramich is not what he needed in the slightest.
No, that is going to damage him a little bit in these next few laps.
Yeah. Let's say Tycho again holding just a very solid race, to be fair, from Tycho. Made the positions early on and has just been keeping. He's been steadily losing speed and the gap to Kurt, but he's been keeping it consistent. I think he's slightly pulled away from Kieran Orme. So I think Jet is going to have a look at Mitch this time around. Mitch is going to try to defend it, but oh, is he going to stick round the outside, Mitch? I think, yeah, he thinks better off it and lets Jet through. So Jet now has that clear space of about 10 seconds to Kieran Orme in front, where he can now try and get himself into the groove, get used to the hard tyres, and try and pull or decrease that
Big looking
gap
for a move on Testarossa.
to
to turn one.
He is indeed on the outside. And he makes the move stick. But
Quite.
Testarossa is going to come back at him, I think, but Zig has the DRS and will keep that position. But the gap to Jet and Kurt is 26 seconds currently, so we'll have to keep an eye out to see if that grows or gets smaller. You'd imagine with the difference in tyres that it'll start to decrease. But we'll see if that's the case. As Kurt, as I said, puts the fastest lap in the race. This is a really critical stage for him now, and that's exactly what he needs. Just continuously pump in the fast laps to try and make, or basically just gain the overcut on a Jet. Because we saw him struggling with Mitch in the first few laps. Has that sort of taken the race win away from him? Only time will tell. As Slinky Malinky gets a penalty. So having most people made their pits, obviously we've still got Mitch, Kieran, Orme, Tycho and Kurt still to do so. Be looking at sort of, well, it'll be not far off what we have now in terms of our order. We'll just have to see how the warm-up is on the medium-tired runners towards the end, see how much time they're going to lose, because people like Tycho and Kieran Orme might come out very close to probably Don't Blink, I'd imagine. And again, if he can try and, if he's been able to undercut them in his way back into the podium positions, that'll be an amazing recovery from Don't Blink, but we'll have to see how that ends.
Don't Blink actually up 4 places, and I don't believe has to stop again, so this could be a good spot for him actually. He might see himself in the top 5.
Yeah,
Should I say. See himself in the top 5.
Definitely, as Kurt again.
Again, one of the fastest now.
So that gap to Jet is now 26.6 seconds, so it's grown half a second over the past lap or two. So this is really working out well for Kurt. He should, if he pits now, come out just ahead of Jet, who might have the advantage of the warmer tyres initially, but the medium tyres don't take, well, they take a short amount of time to warm up than the hards do. So yeah, Jet really is losing this race here. If he can't find more pace to try and match Kurt. But yeah, it looks to be Kurt having it covered for the time being. As Mitch, I've just seen, has dived into the pits. He's put the mediums on, so we'll see where this drops him out. In fact, he's going to be out quite close to Don't Blink, actually, to be fair. He's going to come out just behind him and just ahead of Zig, but he's going to have to be careful because, as we know in this game,
those fresh
he's
tyres.
going to struggle on them cold, fresh tyres. Yeah, you're right. So we'll see if Zig and Testarossa can take advantage of this.
Kurt should be in this lap, I'd assume.
Yeah, I think if he is, then I think he is going to keep the lead from Jet because it's 27.5 seconds now. He has really managed to pull out that gap.
But he will be on those cold tyres though, so this could be a good spot for Jet.
Yes, we'll have to see.
Maybe.
I think Aero Mitch has managed to keep the position to Zig and Testarossa for the time being. So we'll see how that impacts his race. As Tycho also pits from second. Kieran Orme is also going to pit from third. So this is really going to be, as Kurt is now exiting the pits, Jet is just literally coming up to the beginning of the pits now. So I think
He's got a few seconds lead, actually.
Yeah, Kurt is going to be alright by a good few seconds. So yeah, that's not worked out too well for Jet, because Kurt has managed to, really critical phase of the race where he was out in the open, managed to keep the pace, set those fastest laps, and he's actually overcut him by about 4 or 5 seconds. So really, really well managed from Curtis. Tycho now comes out in third. Kieran Orme retains his 4th place, and Don't Blink is now up into 5th, but Mitch should start catching him in the next few laps or so. So we'll see if Tycho and Kieran Orme can make any progress towards Jet. Obviously on a step softer compound tyre. There's about 12 seconds to make up in terms of Tycho to Jet, so over a second a lap, it's a tall order to pull in that sort of time from a driver like Jet, but I mean, you can never know. You can never know. Yeah, I think Mitch has started getting those tyres working now, so I think he's pulling in Don't Blink, who, I must be fair to him, has had a pretty good recovery drive, despite that contact with Glenn at the very beginning of the race for, I think it was 4th place at the time. He's managed to come in, get his wing changed, and still come out in 5th place. So very good job by Don't Blink, even though he was his mistake that caused him to obviously make the contact with Glenn.
I think as you've described the incident, I think that will cost him in the penalty, so he could see himself dropping down the positions.
That is very true. That is very true
which
as
will
well.
hurt his whole drive. But you know, I think that's on him if he can't keep it under braking. So you know.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I think it ultimately was his fault. So yeah, you are right. Even though Mitch, he's probably going to get overtaken by Mitch. Even though he might keep 6th on the track, he might drop behind Zig and Testarossa in terms of penalties. So we'll see. But I think
yellow flag
for Glenn. I think he's just span.
Yeah, not his favoured race. He was having a great start, same as last week, you know.
Yeah.
Great start, but just can't. Mitch looking to make a move on Don't Blink.
Yeah.
Can't pull it off.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate for that incident early on, but yeah, I think Mitch is really right on the back of Don't Blink now, and this has really brought Zig into play as well, who has managed to keep up with him in the DRS. So it depends on how much Don't Blink is going to want to fight this. With the potential knowledge of a penalty looming, is it in his best interest to just let Mitch go, or is he going to try and defend it? Well, He managed to keep the position on that occasion as Kurt sets the fastest lap, which I don't think any of us is surprised at. I think we'll be seeing quite a few more of them in the next few laps, but yeah, Aeromich now diving up the inside. He just has so much more grip. Is he gonna wait for the
He's
DRS?
gonna get the DRS though.
I think Mitch has still got the DRS, I believe.
Yeah, no, he does. Oh, look at
Yeah,
this.
he does.
Zig getting involved.
Oh yeah, I think Zig might be able to do both of them here, which
Three
I
wide.
think he is.
Great
Wow.
driving from Zig.
Very good driving
2 in
from
1.
Zig there to take to be patient and then take 2 position in 1. That's very, very good driving, but is Mitch going to allow that to happen with the grippier medium compound? I think he might
See
wait
Zig
out.
getting a great exit there.
Yeah, I think he might wait on this occasion.
Mitch is going to have to be
but-
patient here with those
He is.
pressure tyres.
But yeah, don't blink
He's got the
now.
grip.
Losing 2 positions, which I don't think will please him in the slightest.
So,
Tycho and Jet, the gap between them is sort of staying the same. It's sort of materialising at 12 seconds. So, any hope that Tycho had of maybe catching up and passing Jet in the closing laps seems to have gone away because he can't really seem to have the pace to catch him up. Seem to be matching each other at this stage. So, it looks to be all sorted out in the first 4 positions, but anything behind them is far less certain as Mitch still stays in the DRS.
Yellow
I
flag.
think.
I think it's just Glenn slowing.
For the blue flags, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
quite possibly. But yeah, I think Mitch is gonna, if he has a good drive out, which I think he does, but Zig has a little bit more battery, which he chooses not to use. So Mitch might have to concede the position again here because he doesn't quite have the drive out of that final corner to let him allow him to have the run into the first corner. Yeah, so again a yellow flag, but I think that's just Glenn allowing for the front runners through. Yeah, I think it's fairly sorted out at the front, Kurt. Really well managed race. Really impressive pace on the hard tyres as soon as Jet came in has allowed him to really cement his position. But take nothing away from Jay, he managed to defend from Kurt for the entirety of the first, and despite being on older mediums. So very well by him. He just didn't quite have the ultimate pace towards the end. And Tycho again kept his nose clean, kept out of trouble, and it's bringing him a 3rd place at the moment. So again, a very good consistent drive from him. But
Yeah, I
Mitch,
think it's been a solid drive from Tycho once again.
yeah,
Consistent.
definitely. Mitch looks to be very close to Zig now, so we'll see if he's able to get the move done.
Speaking of consistency or lack thereof, Slinky picks up another penalty. So not quite
The
the
wrong
race.
kind, not kind of the consistency we're looking for.
No, I was hoping he could. Oh, Mitch going for a move on.
He
Zig.
is.
We'll worry about that
Oh.
later.
But Zig is keeping it on the outside, but he's done very well to stick on the outside of Glenn onto the second corner and take that position. So very, very good racing between those two.
Yeah,
But yeah,
good move from Mitch.
yeah, Mitch now taking that 5th position. Oh, Kurt has actually
Kurt
got
also
a time
inconsistent.
penalty. Wow.
There's a few
So-
drivers with their penalties.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that should affect his lead, but you can't pick up too many of them because obviously he has got Jet not a million miles away behind him, so. Yeah, everyone in the top, well, everyone in this race, barring Glenn in 13th, actually gaining positions or keeping them. So everyone having good races in that regard. Obviously, the Glenn in 13th, Matt, JG, and Legendary Louis, who retired at the start, all losing places. So, They'll all keep them happy. But who do you think has impressed you this race, TB? Who would you say is a yeah contender for driver of the
Um,
day, shall we say?
just have a look at positions made. I think Mitch has done a great job. You know, he did
Hmm.
have that spin, but he hasn't really. Other than that, he hasn't really put a foot wrong, and he's had a bit of a charge up the field, back
Yeah.
to the top seven, and now he's fifth. So I think he's done a great job.
Yep.
Both of the Red Bulls really. It would have been Blink until that incident. I think really knocked him down.
Yes, I tend to agree with you there. I think Don't Blink was definitely a contender for driver of the day, but obviously that instant he was involved in with Glenn was his own making. So I think that's all rules him out for me. To be honest, I'm being quite impressed with Testarosta's pace. I know he's fallen off the leading trio, well, the trio in front of him, but throughout the race, he's been sort of in and around sort of the Ferrari of Zig and Don't Blink and stuff like that. He's quite impressed me in terms of like his actual pace out there. So, and he has gained 3 positions. I know he's got, is it 3 seconds worth of penalties at the minute? Yeah, he has, but he might be a an outside shout for me. But
Okay.
I think with Mitch, it's fair enough. Obviously, yeah, he did that spin off his, as I mentioned, Testosterone possible driver of the day gets another penalty. Thank you for doing that right for me. Um, yeah, I think Mitch is a contender. I do think if he hadn't had that spin, he would be a lot closer to his teammate, possibly even challenging Tycho. So I think that sort of tarnishes in it. Tarnishes us in it for me, if I can speak.
Okay.
But yeah, it's going to be close. Obviously, you're tempted to say Kurt again for the way he's managed the race, but the fact Jet managed to obviously keep him behind for so long is also something to look at as well. And Tycho just for his consistency again, keeping it clean. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's been a tough one this race to pick out one standalone driver. I don't think anyone's really jumped out majorly. Um, but we have to give it to someone. So if I was to cast my vote, I would. You know what?
I'll say Mitch.
You'll say Mitch.
Yep.
Um, you know what? Yeah, because I'm so undecided. I think Mitch will probably be fair enough. I'll go along with that. I don't think I have a case to go against you, to be honest. I think the closest one would be Kurt for the way he's managed the race victory, but at the end of the day, Mitch has shown some great racecraft out there as well. So there we are. There is our driver of the day, I think. Aero Mitch in 5th place.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of drivers. Excuse me. Well, pretty much every driver's made up a place, or hasn't. At least
Yes.
everyone who's finished. Mitch obviously only gaining two, but considering he had that spin, it wasn't a safety car, so he's really managed to get the pace and fight back. So, um,
Oh, there's been
yellow
a
flag actually.
spin for Crazy Mittens, I
It's
think,
crazy
in
minutes.
11th.
2 secs.
Yeah, not a problem. So as we enter the penultimate lap, I think the order you see on your screens now will probably be the finishing order. I don't think there's any close enough battles to really change that. We've got a few penalties that a few people have picked up, but that shouldn't really affect the finishing order, I don't think. So,
No.
yeah, I think I saw. In fact, actually, I think I've just seen. As I say that, as I've said, there's no
Oh.
close battles out there. Zig overtakes Mitch. So, oh, that might be quite an
Back at him
interesting
though.
one. Yep, in the
With the DRS.
DRS. But
Funny enough though.
yeah. So, oh,
What
that
happened
could
there
be
then?
quite.
I missed that.
I literally got onto it as soon as you came back. To be fair, I think Zig was constantly in the half second behind him window, but he must have just obviously got a really good exit. So yeah, potentially missing out on a top five here, Mitch. If you can't get it back, is
Oh,
there's a
someone's
yellow
lost it. Kieran
flag?
Hormy. So it's really going to
Oh,
heat
in
up in the last few
fourth.
laps.
Yes, if he can't get the tyres back in
His
an
tyres will
operating
be,
temperature, then yeah, both Zig and Aero Mitch will be looking at that fourth place. Um, yeah, especially. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as Kurt starts his final lap. In fact, I think he's just coming at the end of sector one, so we'll go back on board with him in a minute. But we want to keep an eye out for. I think Kirinomi's got his tyres back in a working condition, so he should be all right for the threat behind him. But really, it's Mitch to see if he can get back in front of Zig for fifth place. He didn't have the greatest of exits compared to Zig, so but he is gaining and gaining. And who is the yellow flag for up ahead? I can't. So it's gone away anyway. So don't think so. I don't think it was relevant. But Mitch again getting quite close. Is he going to be able to challenge into turn four? I don't think he is. That fifth place might have just escaped his grasp there, but oh, hang on. I think there's a problem with Tycho here. Yeah,
Oh,
I
really?
think there's a problem with he's going really slowly onto the.
He might have
Has he-
lagged out. I'm going to invite him to. I think he's run out of fuel actually.
Has he run out of fuel? Yeah, he might be because I think he's still using his.
Wow.
I think he has run out of fuel, so the podium position for Tycho might be out of his grasp here as Kurt wins the Bahrain Grand
Congratulations to
Prix.
Kurt.
Very well driven as Jet finished in
Jet
second. But
also
yeah,
running out of fuel, I think.
oh my God,
Well,
yeah.
this is
I think this has really
spice
turned it
things
up.
up.
Yeah, Hiranomi, I think
Tycho's
is
going to
now...
lose out a bunch of positions here.
Yeah, I think Hiranomi is going to take the podium position, which he has done now. Zig, I think he's going to keep the position ahead of Mitch, but I think Tycho's going to lose out to both of them, which he does. So
He's gonna lose out
Tycho
to Blink as well.
looking
Absolutely
set,
gutted.
looking set for a podium, has seen it taken away on the very last lap due to fuel by the looks of it. Yeah, he's now lost out to Dumplings. That's now going to be a 7th place finish. What was looked like a guaranteed podium, not put a foot wrong all race. I think he's just misjudged that with the fuel. Wow. That's very, very, well, you have to say unlucky, but, I mean, he was comfortable throughout the Mercer Grand Prix. I'm surprised he's managed to let it get to that position. But, unfortunately for him, that's cost him a podium. So now, as Destin Premed, I think, has just finished, so now we've got Echo. Yeah, so I think that's Kieran Normie in the last podium position now, who spun on the penultimate lap, who's looking like he might have lost his fourth place from Zig and Mitch behind him, has now ended up gaining a podium out of it. Wow.
I think
Well,
actually we'll get Tycho in the party actually if he
just
wants
to
to join.
explain that, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get our drivers in. Jet and Kieran, so it's a double
Yeah.
Canadian podium.
Just before we get into any driver interviews, I want to have a quick rundown of the classified order. So, Kurt wins from a pole position, great drive from him. Jet finishing up in second. Kieran Orme now on third place after that last lap. Zig in fourth. Mitch has come alone in fifth. Don't Blink in sixth, who I don't know, might be keeping that due to this penalty investigation. We'll have to see. Tycho loses out on a podium on the last lap to come down in 7th. Testarossa in 8th. Destin Primed in 9th. Echo in 10th. Crazy Mittens in 11th. And Slinky Malinky in 12th. That's the last of your classified finishers. And then, unfortunately, retiring from the race, we've had Glenn, Matt, JG, and Legendary Louis. Well, after what seemed to be a fairly non-chaotic race, has turned into a quite exciting last lap. Um, right, have we got everyone in the party?
Yep.
Yep.
Brilliant.
So I believe, well, we'll start off in third place. Kieran Orme, wow. I didn't think you'd be in the podium party with us,
I
but
was
here
not
you are.
expecting that.
Yes, well, we were just talking about on your spin on the penultimate lap, you were possibly looking behind you rather than in front of you. But no, with Tycho on the last lap, you've managed to get a third place. Just talk us through your race.
Yeah, I'm not complaining. Good result. First Red Bull
Yep.
podium.
Yep. Was there? How did you feel the pace was today? Did you feel like you were happy with it? Were you happy with your pace around the others? What were you thinking of it?
Definitely felt really good about it. Especially on the hards, I thought they'd be a lot worse than they were, but to be honest, they stayed consistent. Like I found even on lap 19, before I came in, I put in a personal best. So it's kind of they
Right.
still work, and the mediums
Yeah.
felt nice at the end.
Well, that's good. And they obviously you made the call to start on the hards rather than the mediums. Just explain your thinking behind that.
I just thought, the faster tires at the end on lighter fuel might work better.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Fair enough. TB, do you need and want add anything onto that or?
Oh, just gonna say, well done, I guess.
Thank you.
That spin wasn't, what you would have hoped for, but luck
No.
came in your favor with Tycho there, so
Yeah.
nothing for you to complain about, I guess.
Nope, not
So,
really.
good job,
Maximum points.
podium.
Very good job. Right, I suppose we'll move on to our leading two, more specifically Jet in second. Jet, are you obviously leading quite a majority of that race, but in the first stint? Are you a little bit gutted about how that race developed in the latter stages? Or?
No, the fact I knew after the first few laps, when Kurt was just kind of hanging on to me, I knew that he had the pace to win the race. I at that point, I was just the only thing I could have done for that first half of the race while I was in front of him was just keep him slow. So
Yeah.
just stay in front of him, keep him behind me, because I knew he wasn't going to try anything stupid because he was in a really good position being on the harder tire, but still right on the back of the guy with the softer tires. So, yeah, I mean, from that point, it was just after we pit and he was a few seconds ahead of me, I just said, okay, well, let's make sure I finish the race.
No, that's fair play. I think you were showing solid pace throughout. I think you had one or two battles with Kurt, but yeah, I think coming out on the hard tyres and then losing a little bit of time battling Aero, which really cost you in the end. How did you feel like your pace held up on the hards compared to what you were feeling like on the mediums? Did you find a struggle there? Or?
No, the hards. I mean, the biggest problem with the hards is the first few laps out of the pits because of the low temperature. But the hards themselves felt great. They felt fine. I think my fastest lap was on the hards, so it was.
Right.
And I think I might be wrong. I think we were the only two in the 130s, and I think they were. I mean, his was on mediums, so
For
that's
the
not-
majority, yeah.
Yeah, but Kurt was just he was in his own league. I knew the strategy when I saw him on hards at the start. I immediately assumed it was because of the time you lose the lap you come out of the pits with the hards on, because you're just all over the place. So I immediately regretted not starting the hards. But,
Well, you made it
just
work as
make
best
do.
you could, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you got anything to add, TB?
Yeah, going into Imola, I know it's a pretty good track for you. Obviously, not too many moons ago, you had a good race there against myself and Husky. You looking to get on that top step instead of being second, or what are you thinking going into the next race?
Yeah, I mean that's always the goal, right? I assume Slop will be back, Kurt will be there, I assume as well. So it won't be it's never easy pickings with these two. So but it's nice. I think we kept it fairly clean, Kurt and I today. I hope I think it'll stay that way. So I'm more than happy to have a battle with these guys.
Well, you drove a great race today, so we'll congratulate you. Unlucky missing out on the top step, but yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, great
Congrats
did the best you
congrats
could.
to Kurt and to Kieran
Yes.
for that last lap podium.
Right, and on to our race winner, Kurt. How are you? How are you feeling about that? Were you worried when you dropped back? I think, or on one lap, I think you dropped back behind both Jet and Matt at the start, didn't you? Were there any moments where you were thinking starting on the hards was the wrong choice, or? Mhm. Right. Yeah, and then obviously we saw as soon as Jet come in, you posted, I think it was 2 consecutive fastest laps. So were you holding a little bit of pace back there? Was it just a case of sitting in the DRS and building up the ERS for them push laps once he pitted? Hmm. Right. Mm. Very, very smart. Have you got anything to ask, TB?
No, I think you summed it up for me. I
Yeah.
guess I can just say, good job and good luck for next week.
Yeah, no, it was a pleasure watching you both. Honestly, very close throughout the race, but yeah, I believe that sums up for the interviews. Have we managed to get a Tycho in here? Is he joining or?
No, he's not too happy. So
Yeah,
we'll just let him.
I can imagine. I can imagine. To be fair, so right, I think that kind of sums it up for me. Do you want to just conclude, TB?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Good job for you three getting on the podium. But yeah, just thanks for everyone who raced and everyone who watches, always watching. So yeah, on to the next one.